Hello, you join me at Wentworth, where today I've been out testing Ping's new S55 range of irons. Now, Ping has always had a fantastic reputation for delivering golf clubs that are easy to hit. At the start of this year, they launched the G25, and that took that reputation to the next level. Right from driver, through fairway woods and hybrids into the irons, they really were very easy to play. So where does the S range of irons fit into Ping's portfolio? Well, Ping have got a very strong army of tour staff, and this is where you see these irons played an awful lot. Certainly your better player, low, mid-handicap amateurs, right through to tour players will be very interested in the launch of a new S range. And the S56, the predecessor, had been in the line for 3 years, and it showed the sort of popularity of that golf club that Ping really felt that they didn't need to introduce something new until now. One of the key differences is a new material has been used in the back of the head. The custom tuning port sits just behind here, and they've introduced a thermoplastic elastomer which should help dampen down those vibrations that you get through impact. The overall effect being that you should get a better feel from these irons. Now, by using that material, what they've also been able to do is save a little bit of weight, and that weight's been pushed lower into the head, so they should be able to produce that sort of high-flying contact that most players are looking for. One of the other key differences between S55 and the predecessor is that they've just tried to thin down the top line of fraction. Now, I read a quote from one of the key engineers on the project who said that this was the sort of difference between a coat of paint, but actually I've played S56 for the last probably year and a half, and when I put these into my golf bag, I actually noticed that difference. I think the feeling at Ping was this was barely perceptible, but for me, I really did notice that sat behind the ball, but it wasn't something that put me off hitting the golf club. It looked like a fantastic iron. For me, the major difference between the S55 and the previous generation S56 was the distance that I was getting. Now, having moved the centre of gravity lower in the head, they're able to bring up the flight a little bit, and having done that, they were able to strengthen the loft. So yes, the shorter irons, they are half a degree stronger than the previous generation, but that tapers down to the long irons are actually exactly the same as previously. Now that means that for the shorter irons, you get a little bit more distance, definitely. You also get a very strong flight. I noticed that the ball was certainly popping up into the air, and one of the big concerns that I have in that scenario is whether the ball's spinning a little bit too much. But actually the ball seemed to be hanging in the air for a long time, and the distance I was getting was really impressive. So yes, the launch is a little bit higher. I found it a bit higher, but the flight was very strong indeed, and the overall distance was superb. I think that the improvements that they've made in the S55 range do make them a better set than S56. I think if you've played S56, you will actually notice a difference when you put these into play. We often say that if you just bought previous generation irons or drivers, then the next generation may not be for you. You might want to skip one or two, but actually I think a lot of S56 players would notice a difference here, and whilst it might take a little bit of getting used to, certainly the flight and the extra distance, that you will need to get used to that. I think the performance benefits are there to really consider whether it might be worth upgrading. The S55 irons will be in the shops in the UK from the middle of October. Pick up a copy of Golf Monthly for more information. But from here, for now, it's goodbye.